in a small village called Ngemba village known for its beautiful landscape and scenery. Nora, a beautiful young girl who lost her parents years back. She lived with her aunt, who maltreated her and made her do all the work at home. Nora was forced to work even when she was tired, and at times will go days without food. One afternoon, her aunt sent her to fetch water. On her way home she fell and broke her bucket. On reaching home her aunt scolded her bitterly, calling her all sort of disgusting names like useless child, good for nothing, silly orphan. Nora cried bitterly and wished her parents were alive. She was sent out of the house without food as her punishment for breaking the bucket. Her aunt, after sending her away from the house, packed her stuffs together with those of her own children and moved to the city, leaving Nora to suffer alone in the village. In the village nobody wanted to associate Nora. Every day Nora will sit beside a small stream that flows within the village and weep. One afternoon while she was sitting beside this stream and crying, something mysterious happened. A lady in the form of a fairy appeared to Nora, asked her to dry her tears. It was like a dream to Nora. The fairy lady used her magic stick on Nora and she suddenly changed into a very pretty, well-dressed girl with eye-catching features. The fairy lady gave her 2 coins and told Nora to use the coins whenever she needed something. As Nora walked home that afternoon, she became the talk of the town as everyone was marveled by her new appearance. They couldn't recognize her. Women who never allowed their daughters to mingle with Nora gossiped in corners, saying, "Who is this girl that has come to outshine our daughters?" Some of these women said they will want their daughters to become friends with this new girl Nora. Young girls of the village became very jealous of the new Nora, while others planned on making friends with her. Others planned to harm her, especially those who were betrothed to the young king of the village. Little children with their innocence were overjoyed to see such a beauty, and they will run after Nora singing happily whenever she passes by. All the alpha male in the village tried their luck in wooing beautiful Nora to no avail. It made the other maidens in the village more envious. It was almost end of year and it was time for the young king of the village who went abroad for studies was to come back home to get a wife. He arrived the village in all glamour and was highly welcomed with songs and dance. A week after his return, a date was set for the 5 betrothed maidens to be presented for him to make his choice. Nora was not among the betrothed maidens because she was not considered to be from that village or from a noble family. On this day of the presentation, the villagers were well dressed as they came out in their numbers to witness the lucky girl. All other girls in this village were anxious to see who among the 5 girls will become their new queen. While all the cultural displays were going on, the young king sighted Nora in the crowd and was captivated by her enticing beauty. He struggled to stay focused but couldn't help himself. Shortly after the young maidens were presented, after so much cultural jamboree, the young king walked forward, and the crowd was cheering at him, waiting to pick his bride. Surprisingly, he walked past the 5 maidens standing at the center into the crowd, where he grabbed Nora's hand and presented her to crowd as his bride. Everyone, including Nora, was shocked. The maidens standing in front of the crowd couldn't bear the shame and they burst into tears, running towards their respective families. The drums went silent and everywhere was calm. One of the elders walked to the king and asked in stern voice, "How can you marry a girl we know nothing about her background, who her parents are, or where she came from?" The king laughed and said, "I have made my choice and that is final." Then he turned to Nora and asked, "Young lady, what is your name? Who are your parents? Where do you come from?" Nora, as scared as she was, answered in panic, "I am Nora, the orphan daughter of late Mr. Sama. I used to live with my aunt who abandoned me here in the village and returned to the city." On hearing this, everyone held their mouth in shock as they couldn't believe or fathom how she suddenly changed. They tried to bury their heads in shame as they all were unfair to the young girl. The king was delighted to know she was from his village, and he immediately gave order for arrangement for their wedding. No one could imagine Nora, the abandoned orphan girl, has now become the queen. Nora was beautifully dressed and presented to the crowd as the new queen. Everyone rejoiced and merry. Everything happened like a dream in the eyes of Nora. She couldn't believe she has finally become this great and influential. Together with her husband the king, they lived happily ever after. Morals of this story: be kind to everyone. Treat everyone you come across with as family. The present situation of someone doesn't define their future, for nobody knows tomorrow. Follow Burn Fire Stories on YouTube and Facebook for more amazing stories. Asampete wanyi yoma, achaluga mana